Hello, and welcome to the Talking Ball podcast, the only Oklahoma City Thunder podcast where Jack and I talk ball. Jack, how are you
Sure.
doing today?
That's right. I'm good. Um, the season is getting real close. And we know that by the fact that Sam Presti had his preseason press conference today, so that was exciting. Makes us feel like we're back and it's right around the corner. So,
Absolutely. It's going to be so exciting for the preseason to start here in, I think, 2 weeks, maybe.
yep. About 11 days, something like that. I'm excited.
Well, we've got a lot planned for the podcast today. We are first going to start by answering our own Twitter questions that we've put out there on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter, feel free to comment underneath some of those questions. We love hearing what you have to say. And then after that, we're going to get into our predictions extravaganza. Today, we're going to do awards and award predictions. And then finally, we'll continue our Thunder player ranking series. But first of all, we're going to start by answering our own Twitter questions. So, Jack, do you have those questions on hand for us?
Yes. We these are just a variety of different Thunder topic questions that we've put out. So, like Keaton said, feel free to go back and comment on some of those. But we figured it'd be fun to answer them for ourselves. So, our first one we put out was just how many games will the Thunder win next regular season? So this upcoming year. And we gave four options: less than 50, 51 to 55, 56 to 60, or 61 plus. It looks like most people thought we'd be in that 56 to 60 range. A few people voted 51 to 55, and just a couple voted 61 plus. No one said less than 50, but I'd probably agree that we'll be in that 56 to 60 range like we were last year. I doubt we'll be worse than we were last year, like I said on the last episode. Um, it'd be surprising to me if our win total goes down. Um, I could see us making a huge jump to 61. Um, that's possible, but I think the most likely scenario would be to be somewhere right around there because um, I mean our end goal isn't regular season wins, so I mean there will be some of those games like there always are where we're trying out different lineups, seeing what works and what doesn't, resting some guys possibly, and maybe even rolling out our rookies and seeing what they have. So um, I think we would have the capability of being one of the best teams in the league, being a top five offense and a top five defense, and making a long playoff run. But so yeah, I think that range feels good.
Yeah, I'd agree with you as far as the likelihood of each. I think I would first say that the most likely is that middle range, and then going above 61 wins would probably be the second most likely, and then last would be kind of falling off and going below what we did last year. But like you said, regular season wins. The regular season is kind of a time to figure out what works best for you. And so if you have to accumulate some losses as a result of that, being ready for the playoffs is the most important thing. So I wouldn't worry too much.
Right. Okay, next up, we asked who is your favorite Thunder player of all time? You want to take this one first?
Yeah, I think my favorite Thunder player of all time is probably uh, Russell Westbrook. Um, I feel like that's kind of like not the most fun answer, but just everything that he did for the team, staying, resigning, taking us to the playoffs, MVP season. I mean, everything combined was just he was a amazing player to watch and cheer for. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, my answer is the same as of right now. Just being with us for so long and being so good all of those years, being so loyal to the city, being all for the city and loving it off the court as well, and just being a great guy to root for and cheer for, and one of the most fun players to watch play as well. So, um, yeah, I could see Shea becoming my favorite player depending on how long he stays with us, what he does for the team over the years, and things like that. But as of right now, Russ is my favorite.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I can actually see an avenue where Shea, Chet, or J Dub like honestly, I can see an avenue where a lot of these players on this team can become my favorite player. Um, all the guys are just so likable and like one big family, and it's a lot of fun to cheer for them too.
That's right. Not a bad problem to have. A lot
Yeah.
of great guys that are our favorites. Next up, who's the most underrated Thunder player of all time? Um, First name that comes to mind, Enes Kanter. He had some
Whoa, that was also going to be mine. I'll come up with a different one.
great years with us. He was just a really like underappreciated guy, especially during his years with us. He was big on a lot of those successful teams. Um, between like what was it, 20, probably between 2014 and 18, something like that. Um, I mean, even when I was looking up like various players' stat lines and I saw that he had like a 23 and what was it, 23 and 30 or something
Yeah,
like,
he had 30 rebounds that one game.
yeah, that was a nuts stat line. And so he almost won six man of the year one year. So he was a huge part of the team and a fun guy off the court too, as one of the stash bros. You got an answer?
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I mean, Enes Kanter with his just proficiency on the offensive glass, he opened up a lot of second chance points for the Thunder. Um, he was definitely one of my favorite Thunder players of all time. For the Thunder, political career aside, I don't really get into Enes Kanter's post career. I guess Enes Freedom's post career, but no, I'd say another Thunder player that is kind of underrated in his time was, I mean, I think I could go a few options here. Like I really liked like Dion Waiters, Anthony Morrow.
Yeah.
Even I think you could make the argument that Robertson, just because of his offensive struggles, wasn't as appreciated as I think he deserved to be.
Yeah.
Um, but like Dion was incredible off the bench. It was kind of unfortunate, I thought, that um, just the contract situations kind of pushed him out, because I thought that he was a guy that I could see being on the Thunder for a long time. Morrow, we ended up trading him to Chicago for Taj Gibson and Dougie McThunder buckets. So, but Morrow was another player that was just really good spacing the floor, could shoot a three on a dime, and that was really awesome. But I think Robertson is probably going to be my main answer just because um, just locking up the opponent's best player every night. He could do that night in, night out. His length, he could get block any shot that he was in the vicinity of. And so I really liked Andre Robertson and what he contributed over his time. And it was just a shame how his career ended.
Right. And the fact that our team kind of fell apart after he went down with that injury kind of speaks to his value as well. Like we were really finding our stride as a team and looked like we could be a force in the playoffs. And then he went down and things with the team kind of went downhill from there too. So,
Right.
okay, next question. Who will be the most surprising player to be a valuable part of this year's Thunder team?
Okay. When I think of surprising to be valuable, we've got to exclude some players. Like I think Shea wouldn't be surprising, Dub wouldn't be surprising, Chet wouldn't be surprising, Dort wouldn't be surprising, Caruso, Hartenstein, those wouldn't be very surprising. I think we're all going into the season expecting them to be very valuable.
But maybe you could interpret this as like they'll be they'll bring a surprising amount of value. Like if Isaiah Hartenstein is the defensive player of the year, you're gonna that can be your answer because
That's fair.
he'll like surprise us by the amount of value he brings. Not necessarily like, oh, you're surprised by the fact that he's valuable at all, but
Okay.
like the amount of value they bring is surprising for what our expectations are of them right now.
I'm gonna go with Cason Wallace, and I'm gonna say that he will surprise people in the amount of value he's gonna get because he gives because um this team's already really good. He's a second year player, and so you might not figure that he's going to be the biggest contributor, but the reason I think he will be is because we really don't have a guy behind Shea that's going to come in and handle the ball a lot. Like I think Cason Wallace is going to be our main backup point guard, and that's on top of the defensive accolades that he got last year. I mean, he was amazing in the playoffs. He was amazing during the regular season. He was a guy that was just available night in and night out. He didn't miss it any time really. So I think he's gonna be a big contributor just in the minutes that he's going to get, and he's never ever once on the court. I felt I felt like he's a liability ever. Like I've never felt that he's a liability, and so I think having this offseason to get better, Cason Wallace is just going to be incredible.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Kenrich Williams. I think a lot of people have kind of just written him off just because of not really playing a whole lot in the playoffs. But like people forget, he played every single regular season game last year for the most part. Like when he was healthy, he was in the rotation the entire time. So I don't think we're just gonna go completely away from him like some people may assume that we are. And I think like last year he provided a lot of value by being able to come in and be a small ball five in certain matchups. And I don't think we're just gonna step away from that completely. And I think that those lineups can still be really impactful this year, even with our extended depth. And he's may have been pushed down the rankings of our depth chart or something, but I think just the build that he is as like a big wing that can kind of defend and do it all, I think that he'll bring a lot of value and still um, be a significant piece of this team. Okay, is this our last one? Yes. What is your favorite Thunder moment ever?
Want to
Um,
take this one first?
yeah, I mean, there have been some awesome moments. I mean, a lot of them, I guess you could say like the best moment in hindsight would maybe be the trade with the Clippers. But like
Right.
at the time I wasn't like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best moment ever."
Right.
Like I didn't know all the success that would come from that. Um, but I'd say just like as a fan experiencing it in the moment. Um, One was trading for Paul George. That was an amazing moment when we got him. Just because it was a unique experience as a team of the Thunder. Because we didn't really think we could get a big name like that in a trade or something. And we hadn't really done that before. And so that was really exciting and came out of nowhere, which made it even more fun. Um, as far as like a game, I mean, always watching us in the playoffs is fun and exciting. It was really fun getting up 3-1 on the Warriors that one year. That was the most successful we've seen the team be in a while. Obviously making it to the finals was awesome, but I was like 11, didn't really know all that was going on, but um I saw Shea hit a game winner in person last season against the Trailblazers. I mean, just moments like that are fun, obviously, just getting to witness stuff like that. You and I, we were there for J Dub's game winner uh, in the
Two
end of,
seasons
yeah, 2 seasons ago.
against Detroit.
Yep. So lots of just fun moments here and there. So,
Yeah, I would agree with like trading for Paul George. That was a crazy moment. Finally, it was like the first time that like post KD that I've like uh felt like we were a contender again. Which we didn't even win a playoff series until this year. So that's kind of funny about that. But game wise, I have a few Thunder games that come to mind when I think of my favorite Thunder moments ever. Like you said, going up 3-1 against the Warriors, that was a big time. I think the series before that, the ending of the Spurs game where Dion Waiters pushed Manu and then the crazy stuff ensued and we ended up winning that. That was a great Thunder moment, even though it was like a little controversial, which is fair. That's valid.
Mhm.
Um, Paul George's game winner against the Rockets on TNT, that comes to mind. Um, there's a lot of great moments in the Thunder Grizzlies series back with the Grit and Grind Grizzlies. Um, like I mean, even Kevin Durant's 4-point play falling out of bounds in a game that we lost, but still, um, that was a crazy moment. Um,
Russell Westbrook's MVP season, I mean, that was just awesome just to follow along, even if it wasn't the most successful team, but just kind
oh,
of tracking his stats and seeing a player do that well was awesome.
well, and the
And
thing
that
about that sorry, the thing about that season too is as Thunder fans, it was awesome to rally around Russ. But like another thing about that was we were all still so kind of hurt and emotional after like Kevin Durant left that it just felt like a lot was at stake that season, even though we might have been a little bit undermanned. And carrying that team to I think the sixth seed that season was such an impressive feat. Like no offense to the players that were around him, but it just wasn't like a roster that was built to win at all or anything like that. And so the fact that he carried them there was awesome. Like the game winner against the Denver Nuggets that season to break his triple double record. That might be my favorite Thunder moment of all time. Like breaking the triple double record and then hitting that crazy shot.
Yeah. Another one was passing the arena vote. I mean, that says a lot right there. That means more than any of these moments, really. It's just being able to keep the team around for many years to come, and in any discussions of having the team possibly go somewhere else. So that's probably my one of my favorites as well. So
Another Thunder moment that I have is um Melo, PG, and Russ. The first time that we played the Warriors at home, they went ballistic and we won by like double digits. Like
yeah,
I think we won by over 20. I can't remember, but it was just awesome to kind of it felt in and we were obviously wrong, but
mm,
it felt like that team was like going that was meant for something more than a first round exit. And it felt validating to stick it to Kevin Durant and company the first time we played them. So I think that that was a great Thunder moment.
yeah. All good times. I mean, I think about it a lot. It's like us as Thunder fans kind of don't even realize how much we like have it well off. I mean, we've had a team for 16 years and like almost every single year we've been like very nationally relevant for one reason or another, and that just doesn't really happen to any teams, much less like a small market team like us. So um sometimes we take it for granted, but it's nice.
One more Thunder moment I have, and I actually would like to change my answer because I think that this is by far my most. It's crazy that I'm just now thinking of this, but this is my number one Thunder moment of all time by far.
Okay.
And it draft lottery night getting number two to get Chet. I
Yeah,
felt like that was the peak excitement for me.
yeah,
And we were together for that. So that was fun.
that was awesome. Okay. um we're gonna move into our award predictions for the NBA season for this upcoming year. We're continuing our week of predictions. So today we'll go through all the individual player awards, including the all NBA teams, all defensive teams, and all rookie teams. Um, and so, yeah, we kind of each put together who we think is going to win everything, and we'll kind of just go over that, and then it'll be fun to see what we got right later on. But a lot of these, it's like we don't have a lot to base it off of. Like they haven't even started playing yet, but it's still just kind of fun to take a guess at it. But um, yeah, we can start out with the MVP. Who do you think is going to win it this year?
I'm gonna be a homer, and I'm gonna go with Shea. Um, he finished at the top of the race last year. Like he made it to the final, uh, I guess, award presentation. So um, I'm gonna have him just kind of like, even though the Thunder got the number one seed last year, he didn't get MVP, and so I feel like with more national recognition, if he can bring the Thunder back to the one seed, I think it's his award.
Yeah. Um, I want Shea to win it. I think he has a great chance to win it. For my prediction, I went with Luca. It's still crazy to me that he hasn't won one, just with some of the insane statistics he's put up. And I think now that they kind of made a finals run, he's proved that he can back that up with some winning. And so I think he might get it, but I'd love to see Shea win it. So I'll go with Luca though.
That's fair.
Um, Next up, Defensive Player of the Year. I went with Wimby. Um, I mean, I think he'll win a lot of these in his career. He almost won it last year as a rookie. I think maybe the fact that he was a rookie is maybe the only reason he didn't win it, but he had over 3.5 blocks, which is insane, and kind of carried that Spurs team to being a top 10 defense for the second half of the season. And so I think if he can keep any of that up, and I think he has a great shot at it, obviously.
I would agree. I'm gonna go with Wemby for all the reasons that you said. I think he was great on defense last year, and I think he's gonna be even better this year.
Yep. Okay. Um, Rookie of the year. What do you think?
So I'm gonna go with Zach Edey. I think he is. Uh, I'm gonna put this out there. I don't think that he's the most talented rookie of this class. I think the reason that I'm gonna go with him for Rookie of the Year is because he's gonna have a significant role on a pretty solid team. So I think he's projected right now to maybe be the starting center for the Grizzlies if they choose to go that route. I mean, obviously they could do Triple J at the center spot. I don't know, but I think Zach Edey's going to have a significant role with the Grizzlies, which it's going to make him my Rookie of the Year.
Okay. Um, I don't feel super confident in any of these rookies really. But I was just kind of trying to think of someone that might get a lot of volume and opportunity to put up some stats and whether they're the best player or not. So I went with Alex Sarr, um, just because I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity in Washington and have a big chance to grow with that team. Just I don't think there's a lot of guys that are going to take a ton of shots, and the Wizards are in a position where they can just um, run him a lot and run a lot of things through him and see what he can do, because they don't really want to win. So I think he's going to be my guess for this year. Next up, Coach of the Year. Mark Daigneault won it last year. Um, this year I picked Joe Mazzulla. Um, I think the Celtics will be really good again. Coming off the championship, the the league kind of tends to reward um like successful seasons a little like a year behind sometimes with things like this. So like if Joe Mazzulla won the championship last year, maybe he'll get awarded with the coach of the year like this year if they have another really good year. Um, and a lot of times when there's a team that's successful for multiple years in a row like this, then they're going to get one at some point. Now I think the Thunder are going to be really good again, but it's just kind of rare that voters kind of give it to the same guy twice in a row, even if they have similar seasons or they're deserving. But I'm gonna go with Joe.
I'm going to go Chris Finch here. I think the Timberwolves are set up to have a big season again. They're bringing a lot of their players back. They had a pretty good offseason. Um, Chris Finch has been kind of injury prone, so we'll see if he can stay healthy. But uh, no, I'm gonna go Chris Finch.
Okay. Who you got for the most improved player?
I'm gonna go Wembanyama. He's coming off of his rookie season. He had a great rookie season, but I think he is just going to get better and better. And so I think that this year is the year that the media is going to recognize his jump, give him the most improved player, and then I think from next year on, he will just be considered one of the best players in the league.
I like it. I went with Cade Cunningham. I really like Cade. He went to OSU like we did. I always root for him. And I think with more spacing around him, this can be the year that he has a really big leap, which would be awesome to see him really become a star. Um, I think at times last year defenses kind of just closed in on him because they didn't really have to guard anyone else on the perimeter and because the Pistons were really bad. And so he couldn't really do a whole lot. And even with that, he was able to still be a great player. And so I think this year with other guys that can shoot out there, he'll be able have a little more freedom to kind of create his own shots a little more. And so I think this could be the year that he has an all-star caliber year. Um, not, I don't think he may not necessarily make the all-star game. There's a lot of good guards in the East, but I'm gonna go with Cade Cunningham for most improved. Next up, clutch player of the year. I went with Shea. I think he's been a finalist. Yeah, he was a finalist for this last year. Um, he's always gonna take a lot of shots at the end of games. I mean, we have other guys that will too, obviously, but when he is getting those chances at the end of games, he makes them count. Not just with like buzzer beater shots, but like carrying a load of the offense in the last 2 minutes and kind of willing us to win, leading us in a lot of double digit comebacks, things like that. So he really steps it up when it counts at the end of games.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna also go Shea, and I'm gonna go with Shea for this reason. I think that he's gonna have a better cast of players that are surrounding him this season, and so at the end of games, I think players like Caruso, um, eh, maybe even Joe out there, etc. Um, in the final shot situations are gonna earn a lot more respect than maybe a Giddey had if Giddey was out there, inbounding. Um, so I think that he's going to have more one-on-one matchups in the clutch. So I think that he's going to make more of those count. Because last year he was kind of dealing with, you knew that he was probably going to be the one to take the last shot. So he was dealing with some people crashing out on him. So I'm going to go with Shea for my clutch player of the year.
All right. Who's your sixth man of the year?
I'm going to go Josh Hart. The Knicks are going to be good. They're going to have they're going to have a great player come off the bench. I think that guy's going to be Josh Hart. He is shown to be an all-time hustle guy, getting boards, assists, points. He can get triple doubles. He is a great guy. Like, I just really like Josh Hart. I think he's going to be a big piece for the Knicks. What about you?
I went with Malik Monk. Um, I was kind of thinking like, oh, the Thunder are going to have a really good player off the bench because they're so deep. The Knicks are going to have really good guys off the bench because they're really deep. The Pelicans have six really solid guys that one of them at least is going to come off the bench. So whoever that is would have a good shot. But with those teams, I'm like, I don't exactly know which one of those would be the one coming off the bench. And so I don't want to bet on someone that winds up being a starter night one. And so I know Malik Monk's going to come off the bench, and I think he was a finalist for this award last year, if I'm not mistaken. And so, yeah, Malik Monk's a guy that's going to get up a lot of shots, be a big part of the offense, and he's become a really solid shooter and scorer, and they rely on him a lot. So I think he is going to win Sixth Man of the Year. Next up for the Executive of the Year, I went with Sam Presti. It's about time he wins one of these, the Thunder GM, and he never has. But I think the national media is recognizing how successful of a job he's done with this rebuild now that he's brought them back to contention, being the number one seed last year. I bet we're in for another great year this year, and I bet the media will recognize those things by awarding him with this award. He's always been recognized as a great GM, but now that he's been able to go from um, building one great team to tanking and being a bad team to back to being one of the best teams in the league with um, I think anyone would say we have the best young core and best stockpile of draft picks at the same time. That's just amazing for a GM to do, and so I think he'll be rewarded with this award.
I'd agree for all the same reasons that you said. It's about time, and I think typically with this award, voters look at um, which executive made moves to get their team in this position. And so I think for this season, like you can look at, like obviously you can look at the past. Like Sam Presti's made a lot of great moves, but I'm talking about specifically this offseason, like adding Hartenstein, adding Caruso. I think that those are going to be big moves that serve as the stepping stool to get OKC to that top spot in the West. So, or maybe even to postseason glory. We'll have to see, but I think that he'll be recognized for his offseason moves regardless.
All right. Next up, we're predicting the NBA Hustle Award. Um, last year Caruso won this, so who knows? Maybe he'll win it again. Um, I mean, awards like this are kind of just a guess. It's like you don't really know how people even vote for this. You don't really know who's gonna hustle the most. But I'm gonna go with Lou Dort. Um, he was top 5 last year, I looked, and I why not give it to another Thunder guy? I think we're gonna have one of the top defenses, and so I think people kind of recognize Lou as a guy that'll dive on the ground and hustle for the team.
I also went Dort, I think, for those same reasons because, Caruso won it last year, and I'm like, well, I don't necessarily like. There's a world where Caruso's on the bench. Like you don't know. We don't know the starting lineup. I think that he'll be in the starting lineup, but you never know. But one thing that I can know for sure is that this team likes Dort. They love Dort. Dort's going to have a lot of opportunity out on the court. He's going to have a lot of eyes on him. And the one thing about Dort that I love is he is an absolute workhorse. And so he will be out there hustling. And I think he should get a lot more recognition for the Hustle Award, although I doubt that that's on the top of his mind.
What about the teammate of the year? Who'd you pick?
I go Drew Holiday. I believe that you told me that he's won this award before, which because these awards are totally shots in the dark. And so apparently Drew has won this several times. So I'm going to say that this year is no different.
I picked Chris Paul. He's never won it, but I think it's pretty cool that he's just willing to come in and be on the Spurs, even though they're not very good, and just be a mentor vet for some of these guys that they can look up to. Um, I don't know what voters base this on again, but I think it's kind of cool that he's stepping into this kind of leadership role as he's winding down his career.
I feel like that's a great pick. Um, which, I wonder because, like you said, don't really know what they base this on. There's a lot of good teammates in the league, but the year that he came in and kind of mentored the young Thunder and took us to the playoffs, I feel like he should have got teammate of the year that year.
Right.
So
Yeah. I don't know how they decide this. Like, you could even look at our current team and be like, oh my gosh, those guys are like all just a big group of best friends. Like, they're all great teammates and give it to one of them, but I don't know. The last individual player award for today, the Sportsmanship Award. Um, I went with Mike Conley. He's always been like a leader of the league. He's won this award in the past. Um, so I'll give it to him again. I think people really like and respect him, and he just kind of gets his business done.
yep, I also went with Conley. He's won it in the past, like you said. You told me that, and so I picked that. I have no other reason. There's a lot of good sports in the league, but man, not like Conley.
All right. Then we're gonna predict our winner of the NBA Cup. Last year the Lakers won it. Um, this year, I mean, I don't really know who's gonna care about the NBA Cup more than other teams or try really hard, but I think it's safe to say a good team's gonna win it. And while I picked the Thunder to win the real thing, I picked the Thunder to win the finals. So I'll give the Celtics the NBA Cup. And I picked the Celtics and I picked Jason Tatum to win the NBA Cup MVP.
So I'm gonna keep my theme of being a homer, and I'm gonna go with the Thunder, and I'm gonna go with Shea as the NBA Cup MVP. However, I genuinely feel like this is a good pick rather than because it's like, if the Thunder weren't projected to be good this season, then that would be a super homer pick. But like they're projected to be the top seed in the West, and so I don't feel like that's uh, outrageous.
Yeah.
But one thing about the Thunder this season that I feel about the NBA Cup is that the Thunder are in a group where I can definitely see them coming out of. Last year, I felt like they were in a really tough group with the Timberwolves and the Warriors and the Kings. Um, but sorry, Spurs. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Uh, but this year, I can't remember exactly the teams on the off the top of my head, but I
Suns,
remember.
Suns, Lakers, Jazz, and Spurs.
Yeah, Suns, Lakers, Jazz, and Spurs. Like I think, there's a world where the Suns and the Lakers could beat the Thunder, but I feel like the Thunder have all the tools it would take to beat those teams, and then obviously I think take down the Spurs and the Jazz. So, statistically, when you pick an NBA Cup winner, you want to pick a team that you can see coming out of their group. I'm confident that the Thunder is going to come out of their group, and from there, who knows? They could win.
Who knows? We'll see. All right. Next up, we're gonna go into our all NBA teams. Now, these probably won't be completely accurate because of the new 65 game threshold. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna predict who's gonna get injured or not, but um, yeah, we can just kind of get into it. For for the All NBA first team, last year it was Shea, Luca, Giannis, Tatum, and Jokic. Um, for this year, I'm predicting Shea, Luca, Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic. So I just replaced Tatum with Embiid there because last year Embiid didn't qualify. But I'll predict a healthy Embiid season. Who's your first team?
Yep, I have the exact same first team. Shea, Luca, Jokic, Embiid, uh, Giannis.
Okay. Then second team. Last year was Brunson, Edwards, Kawhi, KD, and AD. This year I picked Brunson, Edwards, LeBron, KD, and Tatum.
Here's our I'm gonna get a little crazy. I'm gonna go Tatum, KD, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, and Victor Wembanyama.
Wow. Okay. I could see it. I could see it. So who did you not have on there that I did have?
Brunson.
Oh, okay. And then my third team last year was Booker, Curry, Halliburton, Sabonis, LeBron. This year I put Booker, Curry, AD, Sabonis, Wemby.
Wow. Um, you know what I noticed from your all NBA teams?
What'd you notice?
I noticed you have two Lakers, you have a King, and zero Pelicans. I'm kidding. But no, I will do you a service here. On my All NBA third team, I have Zion Williamson,
Yeah.
uh, Steph Curry, LeBron, Sabonis, and Brunson.
Okay. So for the most part, our lists are pretty similar. I think you just have Zion instead of who'd you not include at all that I did?
Will you read yours again?
Booker, Curry, AD.
Booker.
Booker. You had Curry though?
Yep, I have Curry. I have Zion, Curry, LeBron, Sabonis, Brunson. And
Okay.
then did you have so I included Wembanyama on my second team. I don't think he was on yours at all, right?
He's on my third.
Oh, he's on your third. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much our only difference is I don't have Booker and you don't have Zion.
Yep. Everything else is the same, just on different teams. But um, I, I wanted to get Halliburton on there and just not enough.
Yeah, he was my odd man out. Well, because actually I filled it all out, and then I realized that Embiid, I didn't have Embiid because I was looking at last year's team and kind of referencing that. And then I realized that, I figure he's probably gonna play. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say they'll play more than 65 games. So I put him on my first team. I had to knock people down. So I
Mhm.
had to knock Brunson down from my second team, and I had to knock Halliburton out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the guys from last year that didn't make my list this year are just Halliburton and then Kawhi. Um, I just don't know what to think about how Kawhi's going to do, but I think he's still a great player. But
Well, and a reason to leave Kawhi off for me is that the news that came out yesterday that he might not even be good to go.
yeah, I just don't see him reaching those 65.
Yep.
Okay, next up, all defensive teams. This was just kind of shot in the dark. I just throw a bunch of defenders together and hope you're right. I mean, this would even be tough to predict if we had watched the entire season. So, but I went first team Marcus Smart. He wasn't on it last year because he was hurt. Drew Holiday, Bam, Gobert, and Wemby.
I went with Wimby, Anthony Davis, Gobert, Bam, and Dort.
First team Dort.
First team Dort, and that I'd like to point out that if that's correct, then you win on the over under that we did episode one.
Yeah, you did go under on his all defensive team votes, but you're also thinking he's going to be on the first team.
Yep. So one of those has got to be wrong.
Okay.
Um, but I'm okay with that. I think that he's got a solid. I think this is going to be the best chance of his career to get all defensive first team because I just think that there's going to be a lot more eyes on the Thunder this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think if Wemby doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, I think it'll be Bam. I'm just going to put that out there. Bam's made a lot of all defensive first teams, so I think if he's going to win a depoy, this is his chance to do it. But we'll see. My second team is pretty Thunder heavy. I went Caruso, Dort, Chet, Herb Jones, Anthony Davis. So
Wow,
three Thunders.
that's exciting. I went Marcus Smart, Herb Jones, Alex Caruso, Derek White, Drew Holiday.
Okay. Yeah. I think with guys like Dort, you have him first team, I have him second team. A lot of times people see how successful he was at defending the other team's best players in the playoffs last year, and now that's kind of in everyone's mind, like, oh, Dort's that guy that can lock up can shut down a guy for a playoff series, and then that's gonna pay off in next year's all defensive voting, I think. So hopefully that's what happens. Guys that I left off that were on it last year were Jaden McDaniels, Jalen Suggs, and Derek White. Um, I mean, I could see any of them making it. It's just there's only 10 spots, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard thing to predict, except it's inevitable that Gobert will probably get Defensive Player of the Year for an 18th time.
We'll see. I hope not.
I hope not to.
Okay, last up for our predictions today is our all rookie teams. This was a
Here's
complete guess.
here's where I get a little insane.
Oh boy. Yeah, this was a guess completely. I just kind of wanted a mix of guys that I actually think are going to be good in the league, plus a lot of guys that I think are going to get a lot of opportunity this season because of the team situation they're in. Um, So my first team was Alex Sarr, Risa Shea, Steph Castle, Reed Shepard, and Zach Edey.
Okay, we have three of the same, and ironically, it was the last three that you said, so I thought we were going to be all different. But I want to preface by saying that your rookie of the year does not even make either of my first team or my second team.
Oh, wow.
Um, which I guess we'll talk about that after I name mine. But I have Zach Edey, Reed Shepard, Steph Castle, Modest Buzelis, and Donovan Clingan. Um, like I said, Edey's going to get a lot of playing time. I think Shepard showed in the summer league that he's a really efficient player. So I think that he's going to get a lot of good playing time for the Rockets. Hopefully, their playing time situation is weird. Like they're like a young team like the Thunder, but I don't necessarily feel like they give their players enough chance to get good experience. Honestly, um, Buzelis or sorry, Steph Castle first. I think Spurs aren't very good, so I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. And I also think that when I watched him in the summer league, I was just like, wow, that guy is awesome. Same with Buzelis. I feel like he's a really good player. He's going to get a lot of time with the Bulls, and same with Clingan. I feel like he's going to get a lot of time with the Trailblazers. So that's my reasons.
All right. My second team is Klingon. Bub Carrington, also gonna get opportunity. He's on the Wizards. I hope he does at least. And then Connect, Buzelis, and Terrence Shannon Jr.
I like it.
Little surprise there. I know there's always like a lower draft pick that makes it. Always a couple guys that you don't think are going to get much opportunity because they're on good teams, but then they kind of outperform. So we'll see.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with Dalton Connect, Zachary Richichet, Tristan Da Silva, Jacoby Walter, Yves Missi. Um, kind of bold here. I feel like with like the Yves Missi pick, I don't really feel like he's the most flashy rookie ever. I just feel like with the Pelicans depth at center, I feel like he's gonna get some playing time for sure. And who knows? He could show all rookie second team level talent. So I don't know. Connect, I feel like he's kind of an older guy, so he's gonna get some burn with the Lakers. Probably be good. Ricochet, he's the number one pick. Hopefully, the number one pick can be a top 10 rookie. Um, Tristan Da Silva, he's an older guy. So I'm hoping that he can get some uh good opportunity with the Magic. Jacoby Walter, he's definitely going to get some opportunity with the Raptors. So I think I based most of my all rookies off of opportunity. Um, but I'd like to go into why I didn't put a guy like Alex Sarr even on my top 10, especially over a guy like Yves Missi. Alex Sarr is better than Yves Missi, I feel like. But when I watched Alex Sarr in the summer league, I just wasn't really impressed by anything he was doing. He's young, he's very young, and that was against summer league guys. So my confidence, like he's definitely going to get some burn for sure. There's no doubt about that. But my confidence in him putting up top 10 rookie numbers against NBA talent is not really there. Um, I feel like a guy like Yves Missi won't be expected to do as much as Alex Sarr, and so I feel like he can get to the all rookie team by doing different things, more similar to like a what Derek Lively did last year.
All right. I like it. Um, let's see. That wraps it up for our award predictions today. We'll finish up our predictions for the week on our next episode with the All Stars and Stat Leaders. So this has been fun. I'm excited to see who does better in all our predictions as a whole. So we'll finish it up today with our Thunder player rankings. So I'm sharing my screen here. Um, If this is your first time joining us, at the end of each episode, we kind of rank all our Thunder players of the past from a scale of 1 to 10 on 5 different categories: stats, impact on winning, personal opinion, longevity, and culture. And then we average them together, and that gives us a score for each player out of 10. And so then by the end of this, we'll have a whole list of the best to worst Thunder players as a whole. So today we have 11 guys. They all played for us in 2016, 2017, and that was the last year for each of them on the team. And so a little variety in terms of talent levels here, but all these guys played with Russell Westbrook on his in his MVP season. So we're gonna start it out with Samaj Kristen. He had a big moment when he made the three to give Russell Westbrook his 10th assist in the game that broke the triple-double record. But outside of that, there was not anything notable about him during his time with us. I think he's one of the best or worst. Well, I think he's one of the worst backup point guards ever. Um, he just played that year. He played 64 games, 15 minutes a game, 3 points, a rebound and a half, 2 assists, half a steal, 34% from the field, and 19% from three. But he made that one that counts. So these stats are bad. I'll give him a 1.5 on stats. Impact on winning. I think the Thunder were historically bad when Russell Westbrook was not on the court. I'm going to give him a 1.5. Personal opinion, I don't really have a strong opinion of like feeling positive about him. I'm going to give him a 3.5. Longevity. He was there that season. I think that should give him uh, a 2.5. Oh, what's so funny over there?
So Samaj, I feel like there's just no sugarcoating how bad he was.
Culture, I'm sure he was great. He he gave his teammate a record with that three. I'll give him a 4.5. So that brings him to a 2.7.
That's fair. He was very bad. Um, Next up, Norris Cole. Norris Cole, more known for his role with the Heat during their finals runs. He came to the Thunder for 13 games. I don't really super remember anything significant about him, but his stats show that he averaged 3 points a game, about a rebound, and about an assist. 0.6 steals, though. Hey, now. He shot 23 from three, 23% that is, 30% from the field. That is not very good from Norris.
Worse
So
than Samaj.
let's give Norris a 2. Impact on winning 1.5. Personal opinion 3.5, which is good. Longevity 13 games. What do we give somebody that played 13 games around? What's
Uh,
Devon Hall?
1.
1. Boom. Culture. Sure, he was a fine culture guy. Let's give him a 5.
Okay, that puts Norris at a 2.6. Taj Gibson. He played 23 games for the Thunder. 21 minutes a game, 9 points, 4.5 rebounds, about half an assist, half a steal, half a block. Shot almost 50% and 100% from three on the heave. That was an awesome heave. That's my most notable memory of Taj Gibson. He just kind of one-handed baseball passed, and I think that ball apexed at like 300 yards above the court. That was impressive.
Wow. 3 football fields above the court, he threw that thing
That was impressive.
out of the arena, out of
Full
uh
court heave. That was awesome. But no, it was we got Taj at the trade deadline from the Bulls. It was just kind of weird at first, being like, "Whoa, this guy's not on the Bulls, but he's on the Thunder." Um, but it was fun to have him around. He contributed. I think he started a good amount. These stats are fine. Um, similar stats. I'll give him a 4.5 on stats, and then impact on winning. Um, I'll give him a 4. He was a fine contributor. Personal opinion, I like him. Um, I always respected him with the Bulls, and I'll give him a 5.5. Longevity, not with us very long. I'll give him a 1.5. Culture, I'm sure it was great to have him. Seemed like a real leader um, on every team he was with. I mean, I just respect a guy that is still playing for the Hornets, even though he's 39 years old or something like that. So I'll give him a 6. So that gives him a 4.3 overall.
Next up, Ersan Ilyasova played 3 games for the Thunder. In those 3 games, he averaged 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 0.3 assists. That's actually pretty, and a steal.
A steal.
Sheesh. No, I mean, no wonder Ersan had trade value after those 3 games. I mean, that is pretty solid. He shot 25% from three, which is not solid, 37.5% from the field, which is what it is. But yeah, those stats from 3 games, not horrible. Let's give him a 3. Impact on winning for those 3 games. Let's give him a 3. Personal opinion of Ersan, don't really have one. I'm grateful that he got us Jeremy Grant. But that's about it. Let me go 4. Longevity. This is about as what did we give Dante Grantham?
-1.
-1 it is. Culture. I mean, he wasn't around long enough to set a culture. What did we give Dante Grantham?
3.5.
3.5. Boom.
All right. Ursan's a 2.5. Okay, Joffrey Laverne. He played 50 games just that season. 15 minutes a game, almost 6 points, almost 4 rebounds, an assist, 45 from the field, 35 from three. That's not bad. I mean, Joffrey was fun. Um, but those stats are better than I remember. I'll give him a 4.
I didn't
Uh,
remember him shooting so many threes. He shot 78 threes.
wow. I'll give him a 3.5. I think I should boost Touch Gibson up to a 5, actually. Okay. Impact on winning. I mean, he was our backup center for most of that season. A stretch 5. I'll give him a 3.5. Well, 3. Three's good. Personal opinion, uh, I like him. He has a funny name. Um, I'll I'll give him a 4.5. Longevity, 2. Culture, I don't really know anything about how he was as a culture guy, but I will give him a 4.5. So that gives him a 3.5 overall.
All right. Next up, Dougie McThunder Buckets. We
Woo!
we we acquired him in the trade that we sent off Joffrey, Campaign, and Anthony Morrow, and received Taj and Dougie. So he played 22 games just right after that trade deadline, just like Taj. With us, he scored 6.6 points, 2.2 rebounds, zero point 0.6 assists. He shot 36% from three, which was fine. I remember that being awesome. It felt like he was automatic. Um, but in reality, 36% isn't automatic. Uh, so stats overall, those are fine stats. Let's give them a 3.5. Those are not anything special, especially for 20 minutes a game. I definitely remember them a lot better. Um, Impact on winning, let's give them a 3.5. Personal opinion, I really like Doug. I think he is a fun guy. He's a good personality. He's still in the league today, um, which is kind of fun because, you know, Taj Gibson is as well. So we traded for two players that have pretty good league longevity, not necessarily Thunder longevity. So my personal opinion of Dougie is probably a 6. Longevity, let's see, what do we give Taj? 1.5. Culture, 6.
Wow, 4.1 for Doug. You mind if I give him a point 0.5 boost on personal opinion? Because in before one of those 22 games, he signed my program.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Anybody that signed a program gets a 0.5 boost on personal opinion. That is a rule.
Okay, well, on that note, we got to give another guy a point 0.5 boost up here.
Who signed your program?
Kyle Singler gets that boost.
Boom.
There you go, Kyle.
Thanks for the program, man.
Okay, next up is Victor Oladipo. He played just that 1 year, 67 games. In 33 minutes, he scored 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, over a steal, 44% from the field, and 36 from three. I was excited about him when we got him. Um, we got him in the Ibaka trade, and then he helped us get Paul George. Um, when we traded him for Paul George. And then he really flourished after he left us to go in Indiana when he was kind of the guy. I wish we had kind of used him a little differently and kept him on the court when Russ was off to let him be the primary ball handler. I think that would have gave him even more success with us. But he was a fine player with us. He was kind of the number two, or he was the number two guy that year. Um, Let me look at kind of similar stats. I mean, what do you think?
Like a giddy.
Yeah, like a 7.5 or an 8. We gave like Schroeder an 8 and Gallo got a 7. We can give him a 7.5.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, impact on winning. He was a number two guy that year. I mean, it was a lot of Russ, but Oladipo was helpful still. I'll give him a 7. Personal opinion, I really like him. He did a great job on The Masked Singer. Uh,
Yes.
yep, that was impressive. Um,
Oh my gosh, that was so impressive.
yeah, he can sing. Um, he was always fun. He bought into the team in the short time he was here. I'll give him a 7.5. Longevity, I'll give him a 3. And then culture, he was a great guy. Always had a positive attitude. It was fun to see him succeed even more after he left us. Kind of a bummer how his career has kind of been derailed by injuries, but I'll give him an 8. So that brings him to a 6.6.
Best Thunder player of the day so far. Let's see. Next up, we got Domas Sabonis. He played 81 games his rookie year. He played 20 minutes per game. He scored almost 6 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 1 assist, half a steal, half a block. Those are pretty solid stats. Nothing too crazy. They're actually very similar to Joffrey Laverne's stats. Uh, like oddly similar, eerily similar. So let's go exactly what we gave Joffrey. Let's go 3.5. The thing is, Sabonis was a rookie, so that's fine for a rookie. He, clearly is a great player in the league today. So he ended up working out for other teams, but he worked out for us in that he had enough trade value to trade for Paul George. So with Oladipo. let's see. Impact on winning. He eh, like maybe 3.5. I don't really think he was too impactful his rookie year. Um, Personal opinion of Sabonis. I really like Sabonis in the league today. I liked him back then. Um, so let's give him a 6. Did he sign your program?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's keep it at 6. Longevity, playing a full season, 81 games. He only missed one game. That's pretty good. Um, what do we have other guys like that?
Uh,
Little above Samaj. So let's give him a 3. Is
sure.
that fair?
Yeah.
Culture. I'm sure he's a great culture guy. Let's give him a 6.5.
All right. Not only was Sabonis a rookie, like he didn't do very well for us, but not only was he a rookie, but I also don't think he was put in the best situation for his skills. I don't think he's meant to be a guy that plays with another like guy that's in the paint a lot, like Adams. And a lot of times they were on this court at the same time. Now that he's like the lone center and can get a little more space around him, that's allowed him to be one of the better players in the league. So happy
Yeah,
for him.
I agree. And on top of that, like all of these players, the situation that they were put in is playing next to a guy like Russ, who I love Russ, but he was very ball dominant that year. Like he's not going to give these players very many shots.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess he had a lot of assists, yes, but most of the time the ball's going to be in Russ's hands. So the
Yeah.
opportunity isn't there.
All right. Next is campaign. He played 2 years, 77 games, 13 minutes a game, 5 points, a rebound and a half, uh, two assists, 38% from the field, 32 from three. These stats aren't great, especially because we had higher expectations from him. We drafted him in the lottery, and so that was a bummer. I liked him, so I wish things worked out better with him. But given these stats, I'll give him a 3, I guess. Impact on winning, I'll give him another 3. Personal opinion, I like him. He's fun. It's great to have him on the team. I just wish he performed a little better given the pick that we used on him and how high that was. But nothing against him. I'll give him a 5. Longevity, he was here 2 years until he got traded at the trade deadline in 2017. So I guess that's longer than anyone else so far. I'll give him a 4.5. Culture, it was awesome to see him dance with Russell Westbrook. That I loved that just because it seemed like Russ really enjoyed that. It was kind of sad when Russ lost his partner at the trade deadline. But yeah, because of that, he seemed like a great culture guy, and the guys loved having him around. I'll give him a 7.5. So that gives him a 4.6.
Yeah. Enes Kanter, we both said was a very underrated Thunder player in his time with us. He played 3 seasons, 180 games. He averaged 14.2 points, 8 rebounds, almost an assist, half a steal, half a block. Pretty awesome stats, pretty good. Let's give him an 8 on stats. I like those stats. Um, Enes Kanter, he had a pretty significant impact on winning, coming off the bench, providing necessary rebounds, second chance points. People won't talk about this enough, but I think he was probably one of our best, like the best uh, post players for the Thunder in Thunder history. Um, so let's give him a 6. Personal opinion of Cantor. Um, I have an Enes Kanter jersey. It's probably one of the very few in existence. But okay, I'm gonna try to keep this basketball. Because
Oh, it's all around. Give him whatever you
okay,
want.
okay. Well, then I'm gonna tank his personal opinion just a little bit. I've got a little bit of a story. I'll try to make this quick. So he's my favorite player. I get an Enes Kanter jersey, and I go to uh, a Thunder game with my nana, and we go to this game, and it ends up being the game that Curry hits the game-winning half-court shot, and the notorious Thunder game. It's one of the craziest Thunder games in history. And but we are sitting next to this guy. We are sitting in 107, and or sorry, yeah, was it 107? No, it was 117. We're sitting in 117, and this guy that's sitting next to us says, hey, what are you guys doing here? We're like, oh, we're just watching the Thunder. We love the Thunder. Ha ha ha. And he goes, oh, well, I have season tickets and I have a courtside pass. Would you like at halftime, son, you can go down to the court and high five the players as they're coming out of the tunnel. And I go, okay, yeah, yeah. So we take the courtside pass, we go down. I sit like where Clay Bennett sits in those seats behind the goal, right by the Thunder tunnel. They're running out. And I've got my Enes Kanter jersey on, and Enes Kanter's running out, and I go, Enes, or probably Enes. And he goes, yeah. I go, got your jersey on. And he says, I like your jersey, and walks away. So he didn't sign my program or anything, but he did tell me that he liked my Enes Kanter jersey, and it was really cool that I got to meet my hero at that point. Um, then after his career, he goes into crazy cuckoo land in his freedom. He is uh, too into politics, and which, okay, I guess I can't say that because you never know. Like if you put yourself into somebody's shoes who comes from a country like Turkey, to all of our Turkey fans out there, if you're listening, we love you. But no, I'm like, they have definitely a different political climate than we do. So I guess I can't blame somebody coming from that country getting into politics. But I just think that some things that he's done after his NBA career have tanked my personal opinion of him. Um, so I'm gonna go. We'll give him a 5.5.
Whoa,
Is that better than you expected?
that's low.
Um,
You gave
yeah,
somebody a 6. Okay.
right. Yeah, no, I think it's tanked it that much. But I'd like to also uh I feel like this is important. Um, oh, I do. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is a uh Instagram direct message that I sent Enes Kanter on July 12th, 2018.
Okay.
Enes, you are amazing and don't deserve any of the hate or threats you receive. All of Oklahoma loves and misses you, and I wish you well. Thunder up.
Did you get a response there?
Still waiting on that one. I think that it takes a little bit to load, so he probably hasn't received it yet.
Right.
Uh, so I keep my notifications on.
Yeah.
So anyway,
We're really
but
going 5.5 here.
um,
You gave Doug McDermott a 6.5.
all right. Let's up it to I'm willing to compromise. I'll up it to a 7.
Okay, that's good.
Uh, 'Cause I feel like my answer before all of the post basketball stuff, my answer would have been a 9.
Right. Okay, 7's good.
Um,
Longevity. Okay.
yeah, 3 seasons.
He's in like the 5 range.
Kind of in the Terrence Ferguson range.
5 or 6.
Yeah, let's give him a 5.5.
Okay.
Culture. I think he was a great culture guy. Like I think that's the hard part about this is like when I think about his career with the Thunder, man, I loved him. And I mean, I even got this Stash Bro picture somewhere.
Just try
Somewhere
to
back.
think. Try to think Thunder.
Yeah, because when I think Thunder, I'm like, he was great. Stash Bros. Um, he's funny. He was loyal. Besides him signing with the Trailblazers and restricted free agency and us having to match his offer, that's that is what it is. But I'll go with an 8.
All right. That gives Ennis a 6.9. Highest player of the day, and I think deservedly so. Okay, last guy of the day, Anthony Morrow. He spent 3 seasons with us as well, 182 games, 18 and a half minutes, 7.7 points, 43 from the field, and almost 40 from three. So those stats are fine. He was most notably a 3-point shooter, and that was the most fun part of his game. I'll give him a 4.5 on the stats. Impact on winning. Um, Probably like a 4.5 as well. Personal opinion, I really liked him. He is remembered by many as just one of the most fun Thunder players of that era and maybe of all time. It was really cool to see him with the no dip three. He could just catch it with his hands ready above his head and not even have to bring the ball down and just release it. And he was one of the best shooters we've seen with the Thunder. And I'll give him an 8 on personal opinion. Um, Longevity, 5.5, because he was here pretty much the same amount of time as Cantor. And then culture, um, don't know much about him off the court. But I'll give him a 6.5. So that gives him a 5.8 overall, which seems about right. So let's just put him up here with all our past players that we've ranked just to see kind of where they fall now. So, all
Yeah,
right.
that's a very fair range for Enes Kanter. I feel like being with Muscala and Kenny.
Yeah, Cantor's here at 18 between Muscala and Kenrich Williams. And then after Kenrich is Casey Wallace, followed by Victor Oladipo, who we ranked today, right before Al Horford. And then after Horford is Gallinari, followed by Anthony Morrow, who we also ranked today, right before Carmelo Anthony. Those all seem like pretty good ranges for them three. And then we come down here to 38 and find Cameron Payne between Kyle Singler and Terrence Ferguson.
Wow, that's perfect.
After T Ferg is Tupat, followed by Sabonis, and then Maladone, and then Taj Gibson right before Moses Brown. And then at 50 is Doug McDermott between Josh Hustis and Corey Brewer. Joffrey Laverne's at 61 between Dario Saric and Usman Jang. And then Samaj Kristen and Norris Cole are here at 75 and 76 between Josh Hall and Jared Butler. After Jared Butler is Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, followed by Ersan Ilyasova, right before Mamadi Diakite. So Ersan was there at 79. So now we've ranked 94 of the 152 players. So we're getting there. This has been fun. Good
Yeah,
group of guys there today.
that was another good episode with predictions, rankings, and Twitter questions. So thank you guys for following along. If you're following us on Twitter, be sure to look out for some of our questions, interact with our Twitter page. We love seeing you guys respond to us. And if you are watching along on YouTube, give us a subscribe, comment on this video. What are some of your predictions for the season? Do you agree with ours? Uh, Give us some thumbs up. Or you can follow us on Spotify if you're listening in. We recommend checking out our YouTube page where you can see us share our screen and watch along with us. But thank you guys so much for following along. Jack, do you have any closing statements?
No, thank you guys. Go Thunder.
Yeah, go Thunder. See you guys.